Hi children, welcome back to the online class. Children, we shall start with a new chapter. Lesson 8, Reach for the Top. Today we are going to cover part 1 about Santosh Yadav. Children, Santosh Yadav is a record holder mountaineer, and this story is not a fiction, it is a true tale about this great personality that is Santosh Yadav. Children, in today's lesson we shall cover chapter overview, theme, about Santosh Yadav, her birth, her education, dream of mountaineering, Santosh as a remarkable climber, a true environmentalist, and lastly we shall discuss about the message. Now children, what the story is about, as you can see in your textbook, children, do refer your textbook so that you comprehend the chapter well. Now as you can see, the chapter presents the journey of a successful record holding mountaineer, that is none other than Santosh Yadav. She shows that with determination and hard work, one can overcome any obstacle. One can overcome any obstacle and gain or achieve success. So this is the chapter overview where we find that Santosh Yadav, we are talking about Santosh Yadav as a successful record holder mountaineer who through sheer hard work broke all the barriers, overcame all the obstacles and achieved success in her life. Next is the theme of the story. Children, this I would like you to write it down in your notebook or textbook. Children, Reach for the Top is based on the theme that success comes to those who dare and do. One who is always one who always gives a second thought. Children, they never taste success. Next, we find that this theme runs throughout the account of Santosh Yadav's education, training, and success as a women mountaineer in a country where discrimination against women is rampant. Children, our nation has definitely progressed, has developed, but this conservative thought process still prevails in our society. So here Santosh Yadav has tried to overcome that barrier also. We also find, children, that Santosh defied all odd customs, traditions and prejudices to script her phenomenal success through hard work, persistence and sheer determination. Now children, this lady Santosh Yadav is a role model to many of the mountaineers. She has been a role model and a source of inspiration not only to the mountaineers but also to many of us. Next we find her birth, about Santosh Yadav and her birth. Children, as I said, Santosh Yadav is the first women mountaineer in the world who has climbed Mount Everest not once but twice, and the first woman to successfully climb Mount Everest from Kung Fu face. Now if I talk about her birth, children, you see that Santosh Yadav was born in a small village named Jonivas, Jonyawas, Jonivas of Rewari district in Haryana. Children, this is also mentioned in your textbook if you can refer there. Children, she was born in a society where the birth of a son was regarded as a blessing and the birth of a daughter was regarded as a curse. So children, it was the time period, especially if we talk about not only Haryana, the entire part of the world. It was the entire part of the country India. Children, where a girl is always considered to be a liability and a girl has to undergo a lot of hardships in their life. So she was born in such a place where during that time the society had very harsh feelings for daughters. When Santosh was to be born, a traveling holy man, children, he blessed Santosh's mother so that she could have a son. But Santosh was, children, the sixth child. So mother was quite satisfied and contented, as she already had five children. So she requested the holy man to bless her with a daughter. Children, she possessed a wide thought process where she wanted a daughter, and this holy man was quite amused and abashed that how come a female could demand or could desire for a girl child. The holy man was quite happy to know, and alternatively he wished the same. He changed his wish, and moreover he blessed Santosh's mother so that she could have a daughter. Now children, fortune, destiny had something great in reserve, and there in that home Santosh Yadav was born as the sixth child. After five brothers, Santosh Yadav was born. Now children, the family was quite happy to have a girl child, so the girl was named as Santosh. Children, the word Santosh is again a very common Hindi word which means contentment. Contentment. But we find that Santosh was never contented. She was not at all contented with the you can say tradition which was going on during her time. So Santosh was not always contented with her place in a traditional way of life. She was not happy. She was not like other village girl who would confine herself and behave like a girl. She used to break all the custom and tradition. Instead of wearing the salwar and suit, she used to wear shorts and t-shirts, where the family sometimes objected, but she never listened to anyone. So children, Santosh name means contentment, but here the girl was never contented with the lifestyle which she was actually experiencing in that very small village called Jonivawas, district Rewari in Haryana. So now we move on to her education. Children, you would be shocked to know that Santosh's parents were affluent, very rich landowners. They were zamindars. So children, they could afford anything, whatever they wanted, whatever the child desired for, fulfilling was not a big deal for them. But they knew that they could afford everything. They could send their child to the best of the school, not only in Haryana, but also to the capital city of Delhi. But children, the tradition sometimes, you have to go with it. So family members were quite confined with the thought process, and thus they never thought of sending Santosh to any other place for education. So they had to take the prevailing condition, the prevailing system which was going around during that time. We find that at the age of 16, children, at the age of 16, as most of the girls in her village, that was the tradition and custom where the girl, as the girl would attain just 16 years of age, there was a tradition that you cannot keep the girl or you cannot send the girl to a school. So early child marriage practice was quite common, quite prevalent during that time. So Santosh was also pressurized by her family members that she should get married at that very early age. But children, at the same time, Santosh was not contented, and destiny had something great in reserve for Santosh. Santosh completely objected, and she decided to fight the system, so she enrolled herself in a school in Delhi. Children, she showed courage, and she enrolled herself in a school in Delhi. Now children, parents were quite unhappy with the decision of Santosh, so they decided not to pay her fees. So they had already decided not to pay their fees, And Santosh was also quite determined. She had no problem. She, in fact, started working there part-time, and with that income, she was actually paying her fees. Seeing the, you can say, determination, seeing her determination and her, what you can say, children, her desire for attaining knowledge, even the family members got softened, and later on they decided that they would pay Santosh's fees in Delhi. So things were now going fine. Santosh had already taken admission. Even the family members, somewhere or the other, were quite convinced. They were ready to pay the school fees. After, you see, children, after completing her studies, she went to Jaipur for higher studies. Santosh, after completing her schooling in Delhi, she decided that she would go to Jaipur for higher studies. Now we find, children, a dream of mountaineering. Santosh's dream of mountaineering. Children, this idea of mountaineering, this idea of climbing Mount Everest was never there in the mind of Santosh Yadav. But again, the place Jaipur, when she went to Jaipur for her higher education, there the turning point came in Santosh Yadav's life. The turning point was that she used to watch villages from her hostel, children, from the Jaipur hostel. She would every day watch the other fellow students or other local lights going up to the hill and suddenly vanishing after a while. So continuously she kept on looking at them, and finally one day she decided that she would also explore and find out what was all mountain climbing, what was all about mountaineering. So one day she decided to check it out herself, and so she met the mountaineers. Children, you have to show that enthusiasm and zeal, and Santosh Yadav showed that zeal which was there in her. So she joined the mountaineers, and all the other mountaineers also encouraged. So they agreed and encouraged Santosh to be a part of that mountain climbing. Now children, she enrolled herself in a course at the Nehru Institute of Mountaineering at Uttarakrasi, and then she did not look back. So which institute she joined, children? Nehru Institute of Mountaineering. So she joined because now she was also quite interested towards mountain climbing, and there was no looking back. She informed her parents about this, but she also apologized for not taking permission. Children, Santosh was now somewhere or the other, she was getting that support. So she felt a little bad where she had not informed her parents. So she wrote an apology letter to her parents informing the same, that she had taken admission in Nehru Institute of Mountaineering. Next, we see, children, dream. Her dream as a remarkable climber. Now children, conquering Mount Everest is actually a dream of every mountaineer. So like the culmination of her hard work and sincerity came in the year 1992. 1992 marks yet another historical event in the life of Santosh Yadav. At barely 20 years of age, Santosh Yadav scaled Mount Everest, becoming the youngest woman in the world to achieve the feat. Now children, within a year she scaled Mount Everest again and became the only woman mountaineer in the world to climb Mount Everest twice. She even saved the life of Mohan Singh. Children, she even helped, or I would say rather saved the life of Mohan Singh, who was her fellow partner, who was her fellow climber, by sharing her oxygen with him. So here she also possesses an empathetic heart, a very generous person who thought about Mohan Singh even when she was also on the verge of climbing. She shared, or she gave her oxygen cylinder oxygen which she was carrying. Next, as a remarkable climber, why do we say that? Santosh went on expedition every year. Children, her climbing skills, as you do anything for a longer period of time, you gain maturity, your skills enhance. Same happened with Santosh Yadav. Also, she developed a remarkable resistance to cold and altitude. Children, it is very difficult, when you reach to a higher level. We do know, the science applies here that the more you go high, the altitude, when you go very high, it becomes very cold, and it is not like so easy. It becomes quite difficult. So she was quite used to, because of her you can say consistent practice. Because of her consistent practice, she was quite well adjusted with the you can say with resisting that kind of temperature. And her determination and strong willpower helped her a lot. Children, it was not only her sheer determination and willpower. Also, we find that you have to have that physical and mental courage. That strength has to be there. And this impressed her seniors. Her seniors were quite impressed by Santosh Yadav, as she not only possessed determination, and she even possessed physical strength and mental strength. So all his seniors, his partners, they all appreciated her for being so brave and courageous. And very soon, children, Santosh Yadav was able to gain a very good position, a remarkable position in everyone's, like you can say, life and heart. So her rigorous practice, her consistent efforts brought her a good name in front of her seniors. Now we see a true environmentalist. How can we say her Santosh Yadav as a true environmentalist? Children, when Santosh recollects her feeling, whenever she speaks about, right, Santosh recollects her feelings of hoisting the Indian tricolor on the roof of the world. So she has that, you can say, that nationalism. That nationalism is there in her heart. She says that unfurling Indian flag on the Everest was a proud, spiritual and indescribable moment for her. Proud, spiritual, children, you can note it down, spiritual and indescribable moment, which words cannot express. As she believes in preserving the environment, Santosh collected and brought down 500 kilograms of garbage from the Himalayas. So here she acts as a true environmentalist as well as a true nationalist, a lover of his country. Next, we find, children, in the story, in this, not story, I would rather say it is a true event of Santosh Yadav. Children, definitely when you work hard and when you start gaining, when you start achieving, then your achievements never go in vain. It is not unnoticed. So here, this lady Santosh Yadav, she was, for her consistent efforts, because she climbed Mount Everest twice, she was honored with one of the most prestigious and top awards in India, that is Padma Shri, in recognition of her achievements by the government of India during that time. Right, children? So her hard work paid her. Children, the same applies with us, that if we consistently work hard, if we have determination, if we have the willpower, if we have a strength, physical and mental, and if we keep on doing our work, then success is never going to ditch you. You will every time achieve success. You will be able to overcome all the barriers. As we find that Santosh Yadav, though born in a very conservative family, she tried to break all the obstacles which came on her way. The prejudices, the tradition, the conservative mindset of the people. She overcame everything because she was focused. Lastly, children, the message of the story, again, as I always say, is very important. So what message do you get from the story? The message is very simple, that one must set one's eyes on the stars to and strive hard means one should strive hard first to achieve success. Secondly, we find that what is important is determination, persistence, practice, willpower. So the message is very simple, where everyone, since it is a story not about Santosh Yadav children, it is a story of everyone. Children, we also want to achieve something or the other in our life, and it is not so easy. Success is not a one-day story. We need to strive hard for that. Constant and persistent efforts are required. So this is what Santosh Yadav has reflected in her tale. At the same time, if you want to achieve heights, one must shoulder the responsibility to achieve success and glory in their own areas of interest. Santosh Yadav was interested in mountaineering. Children, we are also interested in something or the other. We all want to do something in life. So for that, we should not just simply curse our destiny, or we should entirely go with our fate. Children, one can reshape fate and destiny by his or her hard work, by his or her persistence. It is not that luck always plays a major role in your life. Sometimes it is not sometimes, children, it is every time that we have to work hard. We have to be determined towards our goal. And if we are quite focused, then there is nothing which can stop you or which would hinder your path of success. So this story is a very inspiring story, and every child should dream and aim the stars like Santosh Yadav. And if we can do that, success is definitely ours. Thank you, children. Read the chapter. Have a good day.